Okay, welcome everyone. Let's get into the charts, start talking about the markets, figure out what these charts are telling us, and hopefully find the next trade. So we're going to start out here with triple Qs. We're across the board, we're getting a rally today. Makes sense. We had a pretty big sell-off yesterday. And again, we're near the all-time highs in the market. So anytime you get that initial dip, you're going to have the dip buyers step in and buy. I think that's just to be expected, especially when it's just the initial dip of near the all-time highs. So that's what we're seeing across the board. There's just buying, indiscriminate buying across the board in the markets. But the thing is that you have to realize if we're going to continue a downtrend, which is where I think we are heading, at least into a correction, basically it's going to start out slow. And then it'll increase intensity as more and more people realize that there is a downtrend intact. So the point that I want to make is on the daily chart, on the triple Qs here, which is the tech sector, we had this rising wedge right here on the daily, and we just broke it. We got a sell signal right here. So we had a sell signal. We had more selling following with yesterday's price action. If I can get my tool to work, we had selling, and then we're bouncing today. So as far as I can tell, we should stop somewhere right in here. There is always the possibility to run up and do another back test of this broken trend line, maybe make an all-time high. That's completely possible. I'm not going to anticipate that. I think that I'm going to just stay short. In fact, I'm probably adding to a short position today in the triple Qs. Looking at the hourly chart, you can see that here's the gap from yesterday. Now we filled the gap and we've overshot it a little bit. But I am looking for, the price action to reverse right in this area. So we'll see if that actually plays out. If it doesn't reverse, then we're going to run up and do a back test of that broken trend line. I am thinking we're going to reverse here and, end up kind of closing below 357.60, really this gap, or at least closing right on the gap. So that's my anticipation. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we want to keep an eye out for that. So I'm likely adding, I'm going to add some to my short position in anticipation that we're going to close back below this gap. And then I'll just close that, that position out if we don't get that. Looking at the SPY, we filled the gap here from yesterday. This is an hourly chart on the SPY. So here's the gap. We gapped down, we sold off. Today they ran it straight up and backfilled that gap. So now there's no longer a gap. So if the market wants to sell down, we don't really have a gap target to fill on the upside. So if you're going to see more selling, that tells me that, there's no real target to the upside to fill a gap and we can continue to sell down. You see the hourly candle here, they overshot that gap a little, but so far, as of right now, we got about 8 minutes to go for this hourly candle. We're back below this gap. I suspect they're going to chop it around here a little bit, keep people guessing throughout the day, and then close right on that level. Okay, so that's things to watch for on the SPY. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, we have a breakdown, and as far as I can tell, we're at least at a minimum going to head down to this 418. That's going to be a more major level of support. So I'd look to prices down there to find some level of support. The negative divergences that have been building for a while, this is a divergent high right up in here. See the momentum, how it's lower? So you have a divergent high. You sell down, you get a bounce, especially at the initial move down, and then we continue our path lower. Okay, so in general, I think today's a dead cat bounce and we're going lower. We don't have to head lower tomorrow, but I think we're likely not going much higher from where we're at right now. That's the anticipation. And I'll be trading that, if I'm wrong on that, then I'll just cover the short trades that I have initiated on the indices, which right now is just triple Qs. And if I'm right, then, I'm adding to a position today and we'll just continue to trade that lower. Okay, so if I'm right about the markets making another leg lower, then we've got some objective areas to add to some of these short trades. So here's EMR. You can see they rallied it right back up into this resistance trend line right here. And this is an objective area to add to a short position. So yesterday we broke the flag to the downside. They're rallying it right into resistance. I think we fail right here. It doesn't go much higher and we continue lower. Looking at the hourly chart, Let me get rid of this trend line here. Looking at the hourly, you can see how they're rallying it right up into that trend line. And that you can see we had reactions along this trend line. So this was a flag, a bear flag, broke to the downside, rally into resistance, sell the rip is what I see on this one. So I'm adding to a short position on this into this rally, looking for more downside from here. Looks good to me so far. Same with this one's CAR budget, Avis budget rent-a-car. You can see basically, I mean, this is a pretty clear uptrend, obviously, on the daily chart. We had negative divergence at the highs. We broke trend just in the last couple of weeks, flagged out a little bit, and yesterday we broke to the downside. So what do? You know, when you get that break, the short people that take the short, well, they rally it up and try to shake you out of that short position. So it's rallied right up to resistance, which is about right in this area, 72.50, right in that area. I don't see much more upside on this one. I think we're likely going to get rejected here and sell down at, obviously it will be dependent probably on what the market does, but this is resistance. So it's an objective area to potentially add to a short position. Looking for more downside on this one. Really, I'm looking for this to sell down to this next support level at about 62.75. And then potentially down here at 50.85. Those are going to be the two targets. Looks like we're, you know, downtrending, and we just made a new low yesterday, a new lower low yesterday. So again, it is a downtrend. We're just getting a counter trend bounce as far as I see it. So I'm adding a little bit to this short position here at resistance, looking for lower prices. Another really good one, which is not quite at an objective level yet, but I want to point it out, is Blackrock. Daily chart here, you've got a clear uptrend line. We're past earnings. Earnings is out of the way. So there's your uptrend line. We've broken trend, and we broke trend after earnings. So there's your breakdown yesterday. A clean, really got the sell signal 2 days ago, but confirmation yesterday. Today they're rallying it up. So I'd be looking to add to a short either on a break of support, which is right now at about 841, or a back test of resistance, which today is sitting at 889.66. So again, back test of this trend line would be objective area to add to a short position, or if you see an impulsive break of the support level. I'm looking for a trade at least at a minimum down to 791. Yeah, that's the level I have on that one so far. So I'm looking for that. And from where we're at right now, that would be a move of about 9, almost 10% to the downside, with the potential to rally up a 1.5, almost 2% to the upside. So good risk reward ratio, even right here, even a better risk reward ratio if you can get it on a full back test of the trend line. So again, we need to see what the market's going to do. The S&P 500 is likely going to dictate where this thing heads. Moving on to American Eagle, AEO, clear uptrend line right here on the daily chart, negative divergence at the high. So these were highs. See the momentum dropping off. We broke trend 2 days ago, and they're rallying it back into the trend line resistance today. So this is an objective area today to add to a short, really right in here. It could pop around a little bit, but basically right in this area is objective to add. And I'm looking for it to run down to the next level of support, 30.62. That right now is a trade of about 11.5% before we hit kind of a good level of support to the upside. And then if you're wrong and they just recover this trend line, you could just bail on a recovery of the broken trend line. And maybe you're wrong by, 2%. So roughly 2 to 3% loss potential with an 11.5% profit potential. That's a good risk reward ratio. That's really what the name of the game is taking trades where you have a higher probability to make more money, and you have an opportunity to make more money than you have to lose. That's risk reward ratio. I teach that concept in my course. Check that out. Link in the description below. Okay, BYD, I closed my short trade on this yesterday. We fell right down to my next support level that I had, which was right about 50.80. We undercut it just briefly, but we were at good support. So I closed my short trade on that. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to reopen it. I've got some other shorts that still haven't worked out, so I'm still trading those. The entry on that one was right here, back on May 10th. And if, as you can see, basically, I entered about midday, but basically that was a trade of roughly 23% to that target. So good trade in general on that short trade. So I just closed that one out. I want to let everyone know. I could see some more downside for sure, and especially if we're going to get a general market correction, we could have, this one has the potential to trade all the way down to this support zone of 37 up to about 39 right in here. So things to watch. But the next level of support that I have or resistance is about this 55.31. So we could rally up to that, hit that. That might be an objective area to reshort it. Or just, if you're still looking for lower prices, you could just ride out the zigs and zags. Okay, C's, which is SeaWorld. So we broke the major support yesterday, this horizontal support sitting at 46.48. You can see basically we gapped down and broke. That was good support. We held that support for a long time and it just broke. Today they're doing a back test. They rallied it almost up to that resistance level now. And it so far is still below there. So I see that as a back test of broken support, which is now resistance. Looking for this to, really just get rejected right here and head lower. The next level of major support, we obviously need to take out yesterday's lows, but I do think we're going to trade down to about 36.81. That's major support down there. So that's the trade, I believe, is, continuing to downtrend till we hit that. And, right in there is the area that I'd be looking to fully cover this. So that one still looks good. And Tesla, again, just backtesting that broken trend line right here off the daily chart. You can see held support here. We had a reaction there. We broke and we're just trading below it. So in general, I see this rally today as a rally into resistance, and it's going to get sold into. Time will tell whether I'm proven to be wrong, but I'm using this as an opportunity to add a little bit to some of my short positions. Some of those I pointed out in this video. And, if it continues to rally from here, I'll just close those positions out and, take losses on it. And that's just the name of the game. You have to trade around the key levels. So we don't know if it's going to get rejected. We need to kind of wait and see. I think it's going to. Looks like we've just started a downtrend in the indices, which should drag down the rest of the markets. And that's what we're going to have to wait to see. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to leave it here. Leave me a thumbs up, guys, on your way out. See if you find it, if you're finding any value in this content. Check out the course if you haven't done so. And I will catch you guys on the next video.